What's up, Schyler?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Pretty good, my man. I wanted to have you hop on real quick and just share some of the results that you've been getting. We've been talking about it a little bit, and some of the things that you brought up are super amazing, and I'd love to be able to share that with some people. So, tell us a little bit about what you do in business, who you help, and kind of the problem that you solve.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you. So I'm in the wealth creation business. I help aspiring traders master the crypto markets and become independent traders and create and live a life on their terms. So I've been doing that since 2017. I've been a full-time trader. I actually started up the business in about 2019, and then seeked you out and did the funnel and your services on February of 2020. And the reason for that, the problem that I was looking to solve at that point in time was outreach, or at least that's what I thought. But I learned a ton from you in regards to everything else that really goes into that. So it was outreach originally, as the saying goes, build it and they will come. It's not true. You got to build it and you got to market it. And so that was why I ended up seeking you out overall.
Yeah, awesome. So what what was it about the program and working with me that was attractive maybe over anything else?
Honestly, it's a lot to do with your character and your expertise. You're giving out a ton of value leading up to it, and I was just able to take away a lot from that. But I also knew too that like if you there's a lot that is given away for free, but there's a ton behind the scenes that to really get the results really running. And so I was struggling in regards to just getting the full picture and I needed help. I couldn't do it all myself. I needed to seek out that expert. That expert was you. You'd proven yourself to me through the free value that you'd given. And so that was what really attracted me to you was really your expertise and your character.
What about the process was like the easiest for you? And really maybe the one thing that was kind of that shift that allowed you to get better results, because before we got started you had your program for $97 and you were getting a couple sales a week, maybe it sounds like maybe one a week, but then when we implemented that system, what was it that changed?
Man, yeah, a lot changed. So you're right. I was doing maybe like one, maybe two sales a week. I really just had a website that was up, and that was it. I was pushing people from YouTube over to the website, and I really didn't have any sort of a sales process. So they get on this website and they just see like all this information. They're like, "What do I do?" So once we actually implemented a funnel and a proper sales process, not only did we do that, but then we also perfected the message, the offer, and the way that I talked to the sales copy. All of that came together. So I was doing everything wrong prior because it was just a website with just a product on it. And it didn't have very good information either, or it didn't show them how to solve their problems. So when we actually implemented all of those things, it accelerated growth substantially. In fact, I went back and I looked at what the ROI would actually be versus what I paid you versus gross sales and also net income sales, because I wanted to share this with you. But so in 2019 to 2020, so in February 2020, that's when you and I actually started working together and we implemented the proper sales process versus what I had. And I took my income versus 2019 to 2020 as 750% growth, which is just incredible. But that was just the growth side of it. In regards to what I actually paid you versus what I made, it had a 1,714% return on investment. Was like
That
versus what I paid
purchases.
you. Like that's incredible, dude. Like I mean, that's a 17x growth. We got people like Grant Cardone talking about the 10x. My boy over
Hmm.
here doing 17x. So
Right.
I mean that was just the growth in 2020. So obviously I continue to work with you, right? And we're still working together till this day as well. And in 2021, we went back and we evaluated the offer, looked at changing the offer and changing the audience that we're going after as well, which I think this is a process that should constantly be done every maybe 6 to 12 months, is
Right.
reevaluate the audience and who you're talking to, and really measure all your numbers. Doing that with you has been a huge help too. And you can see it in the numbers as well, because in versus the income, the gross sales in 2020, the gross sales in 2021 have grown 208%. So the first year working together, we did 750% growth. And then we even took it better and further beyond that and did 208% growth. But versus what I paid you, you're going to love this, versus what I paid you, the ROI was a little over 2,500%. So 25x was the value that you gave me versus the investment that I made. So even though the growth was 208%, which is phenomenal, if a business can grow 208% in a year, you keep compounding that. That's
huge.
absolutely incredible. And we're only 8.5 months into this year. So this is a 25x ROI and a 208% gross sales growth. And we're not even done with the year. So projected out, if we stick on this path, we don't even grow anymore, which we just, again, it's been over 6 months. So what did we do? We got together, we reevaluated the offer, changed the audience again. We're moving into more of a high ticket clientele now. So I expect even bigger growth. But if we don't change at all and we just maintain those same sales, the projected return on investment would be 3,600%. So 36x. And the growth percent would be 310% versus 2020. And that's just in 1 year. So 300% growth. So, I mean, that in itself is remarkable. Now, that's gross sales. So I also did net income, just to give perspective, because businesses obviously have operating costs, right? And overhead. So I wanted to do it versus the net income, like how much profit I actually made after expenses versus your cost. And in 2020 versus 2019, we still did 12x growth on the ROI. So your ROI on what I paid you versus how much money I actually made profit was 1,257%. And that was up, you're going to love this. So that was up 1,035% growth for income in the first year. So the first year gross sales, it was 750%, but profit wise, it was actually 1,035. So it was even more, which is phenomenal. Wow. And that's mainly a large part of that was because my operating costs and expenses in the first year were pretty drastic. So it actually made the profit margin much better. And then in 2021, coming from 2020, we did 189% and a 16x growth on what I paid you versus how much I actually netted out in profit. So, and honestly, I mount all of that to you because everything is about the sales process and the marketing, the outreach for it. If you don't have your message right, you don't have your audience, you don't know who you're targeting, you're attracting the wrong person. You can't get that person results because of the wrong person. Therefore, you don't get as good at testimonials. And through your process, we've accumulated almost 1,000 testimonials in a year and 8 months. That's
incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, man. And I honestly, I count all of that to you because you walked me through that process. You really worked with me. And that's why I continue to come back with you. You over deliver.
Bro, I love how like specific and narrow you got with that, because that's the reality, right? We have to know the numbers because then, it's like, what is it worth? Where are my dollars going? Those types of things. So you're really dialed in with that, which I appreciate. And I also want to say, man, like it's always 100% kind of cooperation,
Yeah.
I did my part and you did your part, and there's always two parts in the equation, and the harmony of the work that we put together has been phenomenal, obviously. And that's how it goes with your clients and the people that you work with. They have to give 100% and you have to give 100%. So
I want to say too that one huge breakthrough working with you as well was the accountability aspect of it. When I was working with, with a coach, a consultant, like you needed content from me. So it held me to a deadline, a timeline to get that done. Whereas like in 2019, man, it was just all procrastination all the time, right? Nobody was really having to hold me accountable. It was, I'll get it done on my time frame. A lot of fears holding me back from really executing. And so being held accountable by you and telling me exactly what you need from me, man, it just made the process so much smoother.
Yeah, man, it's best to always have someone that you can bounce ideas off of, because as sometimes solo entrepreneurs, or maybe even in a business, there's not the ability to have that creative brainstorming. And I think that's essential, right, for coming up with innovation and staying ahead of the marketplace. Because when a marketplace emerges, people come along and they knock it off, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to differentiate yourself consistently, and stay in a position of solving the current problem. So, like you said, every 6 months to a year, 6 months is realistic of
Yeah.
analyzing that market and understanding them even deeper, and what they're struggling with now, and even the clients that you currently have, because you can solve more problems now that you've discovered and helped them through some of the common problems they already have had. Now you can continue to advance their abilities. So this system is designed for influence, and Todd Brown says it best. We're in the business of changing lives, right? And so everybody that you're actually helping is actually able to help other people that are in their environment, and their friends and their families.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's creating an environment that's engaging, that allows people to connect with the brand and realize that you're an authority, someone, a force to be reckoned with, and somebody that genuinely wants to help and cares about their results. So you've mastered that, and that's your 100%.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I just want to say one last thing too, because there was this aha moment, this like breakthrough that I had working with you, where it was just one session, but what we did in that one session, it was under an hour. It was like almost like a 15-20 minute talk, but that talk was so revolutionary for the business and where I shifted things in that time, that in itself, I would have paid everything that I paid for the whole year. I would have paid in that 1 hour, because
Wow.
that was the type of value that was given there that I wouldn't have thought about by myself. Because one, as entrepreneurs, we rarely take out the time to try and think, and be strategic in that manner. So being able to run that by somebody that has more expertise in the field as well just kind of brings these light bulbs on, that can really pivot a business. And that's exactly what it did for me.
Do you by chance know what that conversation was about?
It was the strategy that you took me through in it. It was a step-by-step framework basically that was like, okay, I wouldn't have thought about it, and it might have been something simple to you, but it was extremely valuable to me.
Absolutely, yeah. Some of the smallest tweaks and changes can result in the hugest amount of growth, for sure. So, what would you recommend, or any advice that you would give to people watching this about the program, or even their own process, that has really been the biggest benefit for you?
Yeah, the biggest benefit for me was seeking out expertise, and your expertise at that. So I know there's a lot of people in this industry, but there's one thing that you shine through, because I've worked with other people prior to you too. And one thing that really shined through for you was just your personalization with it, and how like passionate and driven you were and committed to making things succeed for me. You really went above and beyond. You were available for me, and that was something that I just haven't been able to receive from anybody else. And it's why I continue to work with you as well. Plus, you get 36x results.
Yeah, dang, I'm gonna have to find a way to guarantee that. All right, brother. Well, thank you so much for giving me that amazing testimonial. I'm super proud of you, and I'm inspired by you, by your results, and I think that there's a lot of other people that probably are inspired as well, because we have a lot of people that are that heart-driven entrepreneur that really want to create an impact. And so, because you knew you had impact to give from the skill you discovered, all you needed was a message and a sales process. So implementing that system has been, that game changer that I think we're all after. So thanks again. And I look forward to some projects coming up here in the future.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.